Hey, good afternoon there, Sweet Peas. Basic Prepper Mom Myra. It's been a while since I've been on here. It's been crazy busy. We just got done with our county fair. The next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be crazy busy. But I have tried to post a couple of videos on this particular channel a couple of different times in the last couple weeks or so. And for some reason, they have not posted. And it's not that they've posted and then been taken off, or they've posted and been flagged or whatever. They just wouldn't load, just wouldn't load. And I would try a couple of different times and they said they were loading and then they wouldn't load. So maybe that was some weird technical glitch on my part or my phone's part, but it's been just kind of weird. Let's just put it that way. And the way that things are going nowadays, I don't put anything past anybody, anything, whatever. Everything is a possibility nowadays. But there is a lot of craziness going on, and you're hearing more and more of, oh, everything is escalating. Things are escalating. Things are heating up. Things are taking a turn for the worse. Things are whatever the situation. Now, I like to be apprised as to what is going on in the world. What's going on in my state, my community, my county, whatever. I like to keep up on what's going on, but I don't want to over or hyper focus on what's going on, because that takes you away from what you need to do to prepare. And I think that ultimately it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how things go. The fact is, you need to continue to prep. You need to continue to build up. You need to continue to stock up on what you have in your stores. And you need to continue to rotate through things. That way, if things do go really bad, you're not stuck with very old expired stuff. You're rotating through and you always have basically the freshest that you can in or the newest that you have in your stock. We keep hearing of I guess probably the biggest thing is, it kind of goes back and forth between, are we going to end up in a World War III? Is there going to be an economic collapse? Is there going to be a cyber attack? I think those are kind of the three top things. And those are probably all three related somehow. Well, I know they are related in there, but I think the question for a lot of people is, what's going to hit first? Because that's going to allow you to know what exactly you have to stock up, store up on the most. And I don't know, and I don't think anybody knows or will know or would know what would be the first thing that kind of triggers that downfall. You're still hearing people, hey, don't put a lot of money in the bank, don't keep a lot of money in the bank. We're hearing, of course, a digital dollar still, which kind of coincides with an economic collapse. So there's just all these different factors going on. My thought, what I would want to see happen, or what I think should happen, is that you definitely need to continue to stock up, store up food, medication, water. Food, medication, water are definitely going to be your top priorities. Food and medication is going to be your top priority. And I know everything you can't live without water, but I think water is going to be one of those things that, in my opinion, is not going to be the first thing that people are going to think about. In certain areas, depending on what area. I definitely think that food and medication are going to be the first things that are going to be kind of ravaged off the shelves. Water is going to be one of those things, especially if people can still turn on their faucets and the water comes out, or flush their toilet and the water works. I think that's going to be kind of the first thing that people ravage, because they're not thinking about the water situation. So in that moment, probably what I would do, or what I would suggest, is that if you're stocked up on food and medication, great. Because if something does happen, like I said, the first thing people are going to go for are going to be food and medication, right? Food is going to be the first thing. People are going to really go and try to hoard all the food. If you're stocked up and stored up on food and medication, you're not having to hit that. So at the first sign of, oh crap moment, you can actually go in and stock up on as much water as you can if you haven't already. And that's going to be something that other people aren't going to really be focused on too much. They're just going to be thinking about food. And I can tell you that because when the first time this all happened, with the whole toilet paper incident, and then it kind of trickled down a little bit to food, and you'd go in and there wouldn't be, things on the shelves like dry goods, like, Top Ramen. Everybody grabbed Top Ramen. That was kind of interesting. And noodles were pretty much empty. And then you look in the frozen section, and frozen processed food, the easy to fix stuff, that was pretty much gone in the frozen food department. There was a time that there were frozen vegetables that were kind of very hard to come by too in certain stores. But when all of that happened, that's kind of what sent me into this original panic mode. And that's what I did. I went in and started stocking up on as much food as I could. Every time I'd go to the groceries, I'd stock up on a little bit more kind of situation. And never once did I think about the water situation. Never once did I really consider, I should stock up on water, because we are on city water or county water, whatever it's called, public water. And when I turned my faucet on, we still had water. So that wasn't really a concern or a thought at that time because it was still available. Now, if something happens that everything shuts down all at the same time, then you're going to see that issue. But if there's still water available, people aren't going to think to stock up on water. People are going to think to stock up on food and medication. So if you're not stocked up on as much water as possible, if you're not really where you need to be, that might be a very small window of time or a very small window of opportunity that if you're stocked up on your food and medication, you can kind of swoop in and get as much water as you can and stockpile your water at that point. Not that I'm saying hoard anything, but that will be a good time to really focus on that water situation if you're stocked up on everything else. It's kind of one less thing that you have to worry about. So I do think that things are going to continually get worse. You hear things from, yes, it's happening faster and faster. You might not realize it or you might not want to believe it, but things are declining at a rapid rate. I don't know at the speed of that. I will say, my personal opinion, I do think that society as a whole is declining very rapidly. We had our fair this past week, and I have never, in our county fair, we usually have a small county fair. I mean, it's just kind of a typical old county fair kind of thing. This year, I have not heard of as much violence in our county fair as I did this year. Somebody's face got smashed into in the concrete. Somebody's jaw got broke. There was a gang situation. I mean, it was just, there was a lot. There was another incident that happened that I can't discuss, but let's just say it hits close to home. I was very much over the fair this year, and I have been involved in the fair in some capacity probably for the last 30 years. So it was very disheartening to me. But even just walking around the fair and seeing the people there and doing kind of some people watching, and the younger people specifically, I was like, there were a lot of things that I was very shocked at. There were a lot of behaviors and situations that I thought, what is going on? And there were a lot of us that were thinking the same thing. So I think as a society as a whole, I think we are slowly declining, and that is going to add to everything else declining, because what's happening is you have this society that's going downhill, and they're so hyper focused on all the crap that's out there and all the, let's just say, other stuff that's going on in the media world. And they're not focusing on their own survival, so to speak. So that tells me that there is only a very small population of people that are preparing. And there's a huge population of people that just don't care, that are blind to it, that don't think it's necessary, that are so hyper-focused on social media and their image and what's going on in political correctness and all that, that they're not focusing on being prepared. So that kind of opens up a few different areas that I think everybody needs to really think about. First of all, that's going to open up this huge population of people that have no idea how to take care of themselves, and no idea how to survive. So they're going to kind of be left on the outskirts of trying to figure it out and not going to figure it out, and that could be their demise partially. The other part of that is you've got this society that, once again, is not preparing, is not prepared, who has no skills, who just absolutely don't know what to do, but to come after other people. So now you've got all of these people over here who have not prepared going to come after those of us that have prepared. And we're not even talking about like the vampire preppers or werewolf preppers or whatever you call them. We're just talking about members of society, usually younger people, that just are so self-consumed with their image and social media, and that they have no idea what's going on. And when something bad does happen, the only thing that they know what to do is just attack somebody else that might have something that they need or they want. So there's a whole social situation that we really need to think about, being prepared type people and being into preparedness. We need to look at that other factor of people that in society that are not going to be prepared, and that could potentially be a threat to us. So a lot more that could go into that, but I don't want this to run on too long. So those are my thoughts for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day. Once again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing day. We'll talk to you soon.